Whether we wanted it or not, in early 2023, Destiny 2 found itself on the main stage in a way we hadn't seen since the launch back in 2017. After releasing its latest expansion, Lightfall, the game broke concurrent player records. Pre-orders were at an all-time high, and it even reached the #1 category on Twitch during Lightfall's entry into one of gaming's most exciting calendar events, a race to world's first in a new Destiny raid. In an expansion that infamously raised more questions than answers, Lightfall's brand new raid, Root of Nightmares, Ron, only added to those questions. Who would rise to Destiny's greatest challenge? Just how difficult would the bosses and mechanics be? Would Bungie's servers handle the pressure? And after all is said and done, who would victoriously wear the world's first raid belt? With the stakes high, emotions higher, and challenge a true pinnacle, there's only one way to find out.
I think nice. That's right. Just right on me.
Let's stand on all three. Oh, damage.
Root of Nightmares was the second installment of Raid Zone, this time with CB Gray casting with me. This year we set out for a crazier day one experience, and over 36,000 of you showed up to watch this race unfold on my Twitch stream at EvanF1997 and on CB's YouTube at CB Gray. Raid Zone wasn't possible without the help of you guys. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'd also like to say thank you to GamerSupps for giving away a ton of free samples and helping out on the back end with a lot of stuff happening. You guys can get some GamerSupps to stay alert while raiding and playing other games, and just your daily replacement to coffee and other high to low energy drinks. Just get rid of that stuff, start using GamerSupps, and you can use code Evan with the link down below. Thank you everyone for making day one feel even more special. Root of Nightmares needed some designs that fit the proper horrific beauty of this raid. Nezarec, God of Pain inspired merch by the wonderful Nogi-san is out now in hoodies, crewneck, t-shirts, and prints. Links down below, and please check out Nogi's stuff in general. Her artwork is amazing, and she's worked with companies like Armani for the Olympics, Rainbow Six for tournaments, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, FromSoft's VaatiVidya, and I'm lucky enough that she keeps working with me. Her stuff, just like the merch, is down below. Going into the day one raid, Bungie made one thing clear to racers. You will have to adapt. What do I mean by that? Well, with all the new builds, the new loadout system, and the year of power creep before, raiders would roll up to this raid and smoke it if some of the more powerful, even buggy builds were allowed. What am I talking about? Well, have a look at some of these.
So it's pretty easy to get, and yeah, with that, this thing is doing a lot of damage. The DPS is 176,000.
If you have the Grand Overture Exotic Catalyst activated and you pair that together with wielding any weapon that has either explosive payload or timed payload, boom. Anytime you shoot an enemy with that payload weapon, even if it's a primary, they will get blinded.
If I shoot a yellow bar, it isn't, even close to what's broken, but if I shoot a red bar, as you can see, it does like 75,000 and then like an extra, 12,000 or whatever it was.
These exotics paired with exotic armor and a need to reset the cache to not cause any bugs was Bungie basically saying, yeah, we know we broke a lot, but like, hey, it's a day one raid, so deal with them going away. For day one racers, this is pretty standard business, but I also want to talk about the impact that some builds had going into this one. Last year, it was all about linear fusion rifles, Fontamite for more damage, Well of Tenacity for protection, and Protective Light for more resist as well. During the seasons of the Witch Queen, Bungie made Resilience the be-all, end-all must-have stat, and buffed it to do at a base level 40% damage resist at all times, freeing up an incredible amount of power going into the raid. Bungie took it down a notch, but it was still the must-have, Along with more general resist and other mods, it was safe to say this was a Warlock's raid. With the disabling of more bugged exotics and nerfs to Titan's Heart of Inmost Light chest piece, Warlocks, Bungie, are you Warlocks? You can tell me. It's just us here. Nobody's watching. Everybody went away. Yeah, guys, go away. Bungie, it's us. Starfire Protocol with fusion nades, rocket launchers with demolition and explosive light, Galahorns, and wells were the meta for this raid, and you will see why. Story-wise, this raid took place after the Witness went into the Veil. That thing you can learn about if you simply subscribe. You will learn about the Veil if you subscribe. The people of Neomuna had been having nightmares from something in the pyramid, and the voice announced itself to be Nezarec in the brand new strike. Along with some other foreshadowing like Osiris drinking Nezquick tea that one season, it was pretty clear where we were headed going into day one. So let's begin.
Are you hating on my DeLorean?
Oh. Yo, we sit inside our ship.
Oh man, we're ready.
Yes, sir.
Look at our cape. Just keep going.
It looks crazy.
Yeah, this
It's not
looks.
lit.
This looks sweet.
Yeah, this looks
Oh
really
yeah,
cool.
there's a fucking traveler. What the hell?
Welcome to the Witness's Pyramid, a place where dark was blasted by light, thus creating life. We can see the plant life around. You can see the Witness's artwork too, but I want you to pay attention to the tree out in the distance growing. Does it look familiar? Well, in the season of arrivals, this was known as the Tree of Silver Wings, the place where the gardener, the light, and the winnower, the darkness, met to form a creation. A branch of that tree is what Ruinous Effigy is even made from. This theme of light and dark is the theme of Root of Nightmares, and the first encounter. Nezarec talks to you throughout the whole raid as well, sort of thanking you for what you're doing.
These sensations, the tingle in my fingertips. This power is familiar yet different. Oh, it's invigorating.
The first encounter, Cataclysm, just says to survive the onslaught, and racers were ready.
As soon as I see you shoot that, I'm ready.
Turn right. There's a Scion up somewhere, right? We did it again.
We got it again. Third. Fight.
Barrier bottom middle. Barrier bottom middle.
I have the buff, yep.
Adequately stay out of the roots for them. We don't want to accidentally shoot something.
This encounter, broken down, is a relay race. While other players needed to kill enemies and punch 2 bubble scions, then spawn a tormentor to keep the wipe timer from crushing you after killing it, one player at a time needs to shoot the big seed of light to plant that seed in a space, gardening it. Progressively, this will change positions, but the line of light coming from the seed tells you where to go next. Rinse and repeat. As time goes on and more places get cleansed, you can begin progressing the arena. Once 4 separate relay races are completed, the encounter is over, just like that.
Thank you.
Hatred holds. Scions are up.
Hey, I just heard one.
Dropping well.
I definitely just heard it. We're done.
We're done.
Keep going though.
Okay, keep going.
Just
Keep figuring it out.
There you
Kill everything. Kill everything.
Kill
I'm still alive.
I'm
fucking good. Good check.
Nice.
That's
Good
right.
shit.
Just right on me. Just right on me. I was on me. On quads to the right. On quads to the right.
Oh yeah,
Hold on, Eager.
And go.
Got
Did
it.
anyone else finish it?
No, we're not done. Just keep focusing.
Wait. Kill out. Stay alive.
Make sure you get him now in case we don't.
We're done. Oh shit.
Holy shit. Go.
One small detail I love about this room is that you can see what looks to be a boss inside of the Darkness Tomb. That is wiping you if you let that timer expire. Not 20 minutes in, some teams were through the encounter, while others were doing something else.
That thing.
We're in what?
Check it out. Oh crap! We got a seed. Don't. Oh, TJ. Oh frick.
Oh, I shot it, bro.
Oh my fucking.
New objective.
Like came on.
Survive the
onslaught. Mike's popping off on a ball.
Oh, y'all found it.
Racers quickly surged through the roots of the raid to get to encounter 2. Scission was the name of this encounter, and Scission is the best way to describe what happens if you take too long to clear the floors.
I'll take care of left.
not broken. Only you can kill him.
We're wiping.
Holy shit, what the fuck?
Oh, hello.
Holy shit. That's kind of
Hi,
absolute
hi,
white
hi.
though.
Let's try this. What if me and Gomez do all the symbols?
Yeah. We swap sides every time. We grab and swap. Grab and swap.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Jesus.
Did he just get walled?
Look at his face.
Look at Eli.
I mean, the nodes right now are not the issue.
Oh.
Like the.
Oh, that pushes you out. We got crushed.
Yeah, they do. That's fine.
That's okay.
Yep, we have to do it twice on this floor. And then there's upper floors.
Oh yeah, we just
Oh
got
shit.
Oh
no.
That's
awesome.
sick.
Scission was what Bungie probably nerfed collision damage for, since this encounter had players doing the mechanic from the last encounter, then shooting across the chasm for the next seed up in the order. The only difference from the last encounter is that there was now immune enemies needing light or dark buffs to be able to deal damage to them. Other than that, it was scramble to find and kill champions and mini-bosses, while trying to be fast on time to complete each floor. There's not really much else to say with this. It's just fairly straightforward, and teams cleared this one pretty fast as a result of that.
Oh, hang on, wait. Yep.
Okay.
I'm crossing for left if you need it.
Kill the one on left. The one on left is dead.
Okay. Then we voodoo.
Bro, what is happening?
Okay, am I good, Salt?
No.
Okay.
Nice.
Good shit.
Loot on us, loot on
us.
The flower opens up, and you can begin to hear the roots of light begin to take shape and crack like they're growing all around you. Time to zoom to the next encounter. After Team Unparalleled made it through what we tracked to be the first past second encounter, there was a spirit bomb?
Oh, down here too. There's
Invisible
enemies.
wall. They don't want you to. They don't want you to do
I
it.
flew across over here. Smile.
There's a thing blowing up right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yep, so we definitely need the buffs. I think.
This jumping puzzle was not an encounter since there was no respawn restrictions, but it was unique and slowed down the pace of racers just enough. But it also felt like something they were ready for, since all you had to do was shoot the light field and then a dark seed to get protection from the darkness you were blasted with. As teams advanced, the raid told more story from Nezarec.
I can hear the shifting roots across the pyramid's architecture. Taste the paracausality on my tongue. Progress.
Team Unparalleled was only focused on one story though, Worlds First, and World might be the best way to describe the third encounter. Meet Zo'Aurc, Explicator of Planets.
He's got a thing on it. He's got a fucking crate on his back.
He does.
Alright, whatever. Hey.
That is.
Yeah, alright.
Hey,
Angle, let me start.
No, that's a different thing. Modified.
What the fudge?
Oh my god.
Wait, this is
Class, bro?
I did not study, dude.
What the fuck?
Gotta rally here. Let's start wipes.
Yep.
Oh, it's the witness's room from the first cutscene.
Oh my god, it is.
The DCD room, dog. Got my content.
This room may look familiar if you played the Witch Queen campaign, as this was the first room we saw of the Witness. I think we can all agree this room feels so unique to the rest of the raid, and serves as one of the coolest encounters in terms of visuals. In terms of mechanics, this encounter is simpler than you would think. All you need to do is kill the Centurions in the middle, then the Colossus to get planetary insight. This allows you to see which ones are the odd ones out. On the right, the odd one out is the light planet, and on the left, it's the dark planets. The community was ready to throw some haymakers at each other over the callouts. So I want to ask you, if you raced on day one, what were your callouts? I would also like to say that my callouts are top and bottom, left and right, and middle. Just by standing in the center of the triangle, you know which it is, instead of confusing yourself with numbers. Alright? You do the numbers though if you want to. Yeah, you do that. Once you grab the buff from the odd ones out on your side, you need to swap them with the odd ones out on the other side. After this is done, you kill more enemies, then more Centurions, then another Colossus, and finally, the twist part. You see, by making your swaps before, you align the planets in the center to be swapped with matching planets this time. So if your team has 2 lights and a dark, 2 players from light side can grab any 2 lights and replace it with the middle dark ones. And the same thing applies to the 1 dark from 1 person from dark side. If you do this wrong, the planets explode!
Wait, are we doing damage? No, what the fuck is going on?
No. So now the question is, where the fuck do we put the planets?
How the fuck did I move a planet?
Jesus,
what the fuck
what the hell's going on? That's a wipe. That's a wipe,
Yeah, this looks really bad.
So we have to figure out, like, there has to be a correct ones you shift.
If right, the damage can begin, but the boss will always swap to one or the other afterwards. So if I have light on left, then light in middle, and dark on right, I will need to do light on left first, then dark on right, finishing in the middle. Teams were here for a pretty long time on day 1.
I just stood on the light beam that was coming out.
Oh, they're going middle. Oh no, they're just.
Is this devastation or is this boss?
I think this is death. This looks like death.
Wait, do we want to match?
We probably have to match. Wait, but how do we know which 3 it
You
picks
need
to
to
go in the
match
middle? It's
energy.
just 4
Exactly.
corners.
What does it pick? Which one does it pick? That last one, it picked the inside one. I'm pretty sure.
That's the white. That's the white.
It's definitely just get rid of whatever.
Did you see which ones he pulled in? Maybe we have to line up the
Pulled
ones
in
that
dark.
he's gonna pull in.
He pulled in dark.
I meant
Yeah.
where he pulled the planets from.
I should probably also explain what's going on screen for the teams racing. You see, with all the coaching and screen peeking of raids, teams have muted communications for live streams. But for this one, and I love this, they covered the buffs and debuffs on the screen. You may wonder why, but even by knowing buffs and debuffs, you can learn a lot. And this amount of preparation goes to show you that raid racing has come so far. Back to the boss encounter, this one was set to be beaten.
Nice.
Let's go. Let's go.
Swap the sword, grab heavy.
Need the fucking bags.
Nice, good shit, guys. Nobody has actually gotten to the encounter. They're still running to it. Alright, let's go.
Do you have any healing?
What's the close?
No healing.
Keep hitting them. Nice.
Nice.
Holy shit, we gotta move.
Mango, Mango, save us.
I think around 1.
I'm getting close. Mango, save us.
Team chat.
Good shit.
Okay. Good.
Nice. Yeah.
We got him.
Let's go.
Let's go, guys.
One more. Let's go.
Good job, guys.
Let's catch the fuck up. Okay, we're behind. What do we?
The jumping puzzle between third encounter and the next one told us a crazy amount of info dump. Nezarec says this.
Such tenacious adventurers. It's fascinating to see the lengths you'll go to reach your goals. Emissaries of pain and death. It's inspiring. I have been trapped for a very long time. Such a cruel fate for simply fulfilling my duties. Don't you think? Free me. I want to experience this world with my new perspective. Cursed my remains. I assume that's when she whisked away the veil to Neptune. The coveted key to the witness's plans. And the sapid secret of its first victims. As much as I loathe her, I must applaud her efforts.
Savathun killed him previously, and we know she could still be alive since her ghost is just not dead. So I think we will meet up with the Witch Queen in the coming seasons to find out more about the Veil, since only my subscribers and I know what the Veil really is. One detail I loved about this jumping puzzle was that it should look familiar. In fact, all of them should look familiar because you're going through the same areas after spreading light to the encounters. You are growing the tree of silver wings with your light. There is clearly also meant to be a progression of time through each encounter. And at the end of it all, this tree that was once a giant seed sprouted branches and then was fully grown. You may also notice that you have been going through the same areas on 3 separate occasions: the entrance, the post-second encounter, and finally the post-third encounter. You can't see your progress from a distance because you are reliving your progress. And I just think it's so cool. As the racers headed up to the next arena, they ended up freeing the voice. There's no other way to say this. The entrance is just iconic. Meet Nezarec, final god of pain.
Oh, a shame we can't entertain our one-sided conversations further. Oh, but this feels too good. Guardian, let me devour your fear.
Nezarec is like the crazy anime villain that has one eye squinting while he tells you how he's about to destroy everyone in the world. And Nezarec came with the beatdown stick.
I'm ready.
I might die.
Go.
Yeah.
I got him.
I have Nezarec sacred.
I just got ran.
Boss it, yeah, boss on all the sides.
I'm going to dark side.
Oh my god, I just got rapid fire.
Ah!
It's over where I'm shooting.
Dude. Bro,
he's not letting me down.
Unparalleled was here first that we could track, but Intrinsic, Team Heart in the Paint, Team Triangle, Respire, Elysium with Tier 1, and others were only just behind. This boss just slapped everyone who came near, and was one of the biggest compliments I can give is that he's a raid boss who just moves around the whole time. Zo'Aurc may have moved a lot in the second phase, but Nezarec wouldn't leave you alone. This might be the most simple in terms of mechanics, yet brutal for contest mode in terms of dying, because this boss was really difficult to maneuver around. The way you're supposed to do this for slower speed was to shoot the boss's shoulders with the sniper to either see light or dark glow from him. This tells you where to stay safe from the boss, which was the jumping puzzle mechanic, and by shielding your team from the explosion, you could live. Most teams didn't do this, instead opting to run a relay race like the first encounter on each side to cleanse the seeds. The obstacles were Shadow Legion and the boss, since he could just boop you in the air, rain hell on you, attack from a distance, and more. For the 2 players in the middle, they needed to shoot the boss's chest to grab his gaze and prevent the boops from happening. After this, it was time for hell to rain down on the boss and damage to begin.
If you break it. This is
So how do you want to buff ourselves then?
Oh, he's coming after me.
The next respawn's in his chest. I'm not sure if it's gonna break though. Just like
I'm shooting my last one.
Let's see, I shot it. Did it stop anything?
Shoulders.
I think it's just.
I think we just speed dip it.
You good? No.
We're doing the one new one.
I'm activating the one on Vile.
Darkness over to me. Over to me.
Wait, what do you do?
We were always doing the
agreed not to
other
use the ones
ones.
at the spawn one.
Fucking
Finish.
His chest is still not available. No chest.
Take this.
Okay.
Take.
Finish it now.
Go.
Finish.
No.
So again, what's happening with the buffs? What's going on?
That's what I mean.
The race was tight, and teams just kept wiping due to the boss, and being a tad bit slow on their strategy, since the encounter was trying to build you for the protection thing, but you could do it with speed. If you did this strategy and it worked, this level of speed was fitting for who ended up winning.
Save heavy for final stand.
Alright, watch for final stand.
Careful.
Chris, watch for Chris.
Damage.
Must have burned. Empty the bag. Empty the bag. Empty the bag. Yes. Come on, baby.
Holy shit.
Chest in orbit.
Chest in orbit.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Please give this to us. Please, 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 please.
Team Harden the Paint of Luminous, the previous winning clan of Deep Stone Crypt, pulled off the victory, with Puns, who was a part of Crown of Sorrow's world's first team, Grangolf, Kai, Osiris, SK, and Rowan, who actually had world record for all Remembrance speedrun in Elden Ring, pulled off an incredible victory. A massive congrats to this team, who was very long overdue to grab a world's first after coming third in Vow of the Disciple and second in the Vault of Glass remaster. I also had the chance to ask some questions like, why Team Harden the Paint when you're a part of Luminous? And the reason was, they joined the clan because on day one Vault of Glass, they wanted to type out in text chat, but Fireteam chat was broken, so they made Team Harden the Paint just in case. They also just do traditional Jav 4 rumbles and matches before the raid as a pre-raid tradition. This was also the first time they got to play as a whole team. They made this team a little over a year ago, but Kai's power went out 2 hours before Vow of the Disciple, and SK had to work for Kingsfall. So, are we about to see Destiny's next dynasty take shape? They've been close to winning 3 raids now, and with 1 under their belt, this could go even further. They also told me that their first and third encounter was just really solid. Again, congrats to Luminous and Team Harden the Paint. Also, Grangolf threw up 5 times before this raid even started. You could say he was a little bit anxious, but the monkey has been lifted off his back. This was also the first Elysium loss in 3 raids, and people were quick to remind them that they lost, which is very embarrassing by people. Look, we get it. Winning 3 in a row can villainize a team, and I know everyone thinks Salta Greppo for some reason got Divinity nerfed, but people unnecessarily hating is just uncalled for, and a big joke to me. Come on, we're better than that. You can see that the rest of the top 10 teams were incredibly close with Elysium and Tier 1 combos, the original Luminous Deepstone Crypt team, and more were very close behind. A 2 hour and 25 minute clear makes this the 4th fastest raid ever cleared, just behind Scourge of the Past and Wrath of the Machine. Nezarec's death also told Destiny players that the nightmares had finally stopped.
While our attention was drawn to Neptune, something wicked stirred in the Witness's pyramid. A life force thought to be lost, unknowingly revived by the Traveler's terraforming power. Its defensive display forever imprinted upon the vessel. The infamous final god of pain sought to use this paracausal power for his own curiosities. But it proved to be his final mistake. The people of Neomuna may now be free of Nezarec's influence, but the Cabal and Vex remain at their doorstep. Though an unanswerable question remains on all our minds. Where has the Witness gone? We must begin our search in the pieces it has left behind. It will not succeed for as long as we remain in existence.
After killing Nezarec, you may notice that the boss has some weird features on his head. These weird beady eyes that almost look like planets. Similar to how Zo'Aurc had some symbols on his eyes, giving us a lot of foreshadowing. However, with Nezarec, I'm left with more questions than answers, but I'll save that for my thoughts and opinions later on in the video and a separate video. In the meantime, let's talk about the loot, the bugs, and the impressions. Root of Nightmares has some interesting loot. The whole raid is themed around light and dark, and the weapons represent this, with 3 being Strand for darkness, and 2 solar with 1 void for being light. The sidearm, aka the Glocken Balls, is pretty neat. The auto rifle reminds me a lot of Atheon's Epilogue from Vault of Glass, the Void Shotgun, which looks pretty good but we need to see, the Linear Fusion, which is a solar 3-round burst, and we also have a Strand Heavy GL, and a solar trace rifle. The raid mod dealing more damage to tormentors and some other stuff is cool, but the most interesting part about this mod is that it does more damage to Lucent Hive. Does this mean we will see more Savathûn? I like when raids do stuff like this, when they tease us about future content. I'm a fan of that. The armor is just downright bananas. This is what I'm talking about for raid armor. I want to kill the boss, and then I want to look like the boss afterwards. And this raid understood that assignment. Top to bottom, Armor Team did some amazing stuff here. I also happened to get the exotic shotgun on my first run through the raid, since I just have streamer luck. This shotty is unique, and I see it being used for champions, but it reminds me more of a Borderlands weapon than Destiny. Not even sure how I can explain that. I love that the reticle is a triangle for the Stasis Darkness shot and a traveler shape for the Scorch Solar shot. If you hit most of your shots, you freeze, and same with Scourge if you hit most of your shots with that. And it reloads quick enough to make it a good weapon in Grandmaster Nightfalls. That is the loot for the most part. But one thing I also wanted to point out was the bugs that will get fixed one day, but they're still pretty funny.
It's done! It's done! It's done!
It's clout.
The chest is there! What? The chest is there!
Wait, no fucking way! No!
We failed the encounter still, though.
We're behind the wall. We're behind the wall.
We can respawn! We're behind
Boys.
the wall!
No way.
Stuff.
Right. Yeah, I got no ammo in this damage phase.
That's alright, look at...
Okay, never mind. No damage phase.
What?
Game said no.
Reloading.
There we go.
Let's fucking go.
Please,
What?
please.
No, please, no, please, no. Please, no. No!
He died.
Let's go, baby! That's what I'm talking about!
Two-man, Wait! What? Nah!
We can go, now we can go. Go quick fast.
He fell off the map! He fell off the map!
It comes up in the bottom left. It
was one of the ones before, though. That's the thing.
I feel like the mechanic wouldn't deliberately soft lock you if you missed though. Like I feel like there'd be a wipe right now if it was like there was no way of killing them. Gotta be a way, you would think.
Did you guys have the buff before you finished? Because I had to shoot it.
I had the light buff.
I definitely had it and it went away.
I almost had PTSD devour the Disciple on the soft locks here. And while I can give full credit to server team holding it down on this raid, I can also say that soft lock should just never happen to any capacity. But it didn't affect day one that much. As far as the final boss goes, guys, I'm not gonna lie. This was the most bugged fight I have ever had for a day one raid, especially with all the desync going on in the background. Overall, I think those will get sorted, but I just can't even imagine not getting a contest clear because the boss just wiped your team even when he was dead. Bugs aside and jank aside, the raid was an interesting one to say the least. I can't quite put my finger as to why, but this raid just didn't feel nearly as pristine as other day ones before it. Usually I leave a day one raid in awe, excitement for what's next. But this time around, I just sort of knew what to expect. The visuals were amazing. That is always going to be good. The music was amazing. The set pieces, the props, whatever you want to call it, that is always amazing. But I don't know if this was the raid that I was expecting. But I just kind of knew it was just another raid to fill time and not really progress. We've had 2 years in a row now of raids that progress the story or at least give you a big indicator of where the story's going. And I kind of already know that light and dark need to go together. I mean, they've been pushing that ever since Season of Arrivals. Was it because Nezarec told us he was coming? Was it because the raid followed a simpler format of mechanics? Or was it because the story of Lightfall didn't give me a reason to be incredibly hyped for the raid? I still love what Bungie does. I still love what Bungie put on display here, but I would be fooling myself if the raid answered the questions I had from the campaign. As far as difficulty goes, it seems like a lot of people are getting it twisted, and I think Scarrow put it best when he said he doesn't really care how many people finish contests. It could literally be every person that plays for all I care. I only care about how contest feels during my experience, and to me, it felt a little too easy. Gatekeeping emblems is kind of dumb, and personally, I want to save my full breakdown of thoughts for a future video. And I know there's a lot of people that disagree with that. And I know there's a lot of people that disagree with the ease or the difficulty of contest. But when this raid has 270,000 completions versus the next highest at 40,000, it's pretty telling that a lot of teams share that same sentiment. Those feelings are just represented in the data. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that is for another video. For now, we need to wrap this one up. Destiny's raids often reflect the expansion they launch with, and none more so than Root of Nightmares. It looks like this penultimate chapter of Destiny will be defined by an increasing list of questions right before the final shape arrives in 2024. Questions like, where is Savathûn? Why is the Witness doing all of this? What is the Vanguard actually doing in this war? Will Taniks return? And ultimately, how is Bungie going to wrap up the Light and Dark saga? The question of gameplay difficulty was also raised in this raid, as Bungie seemed to dramatically lower the challenge in what was typically Destiny's hardest activity. Were the players better than ever before, or was the raid less difficult than before? Root of Nightmares will be remembered as one of the fastest world's first raid races, and most likely will have the most contest mode completions due to its low barrier of entry, simple mechanics, lack of tight DPS checks, the increased 48-hour window, and the insanely powerful sandbox of its time. Hell, as I'm writing this, I just saw a team of 6 Rat Kings beat contest mode, and the community is already speedrunning in less than 40 minutes. But none of the factors take away the shine of Team Heart in the Paint's achievement, with their undeniably dominating performance to claim victory of World's First. While the citizens of Neomuna can now rest easily, knowing that the haunting presence in their nightmares is no more, Destiny's community isn't exactly sleeping well. As a player, Lightfall has made some awesome evolutions to the way that we play the game, and the new raid honestly could be the best looking environmental design in Destiny's history. A beautiful canvas of light's creation violently clashing with the mysterious darkness. But I don't think it's time to add more mysteries. It's time for answers. I just really hope we don't get a Game of Thrones or Lost situation, where Destiny's epic story fumbles at the finish line for an unsatisfying end. Ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up for Root of Nightmares, and another race for World's First. If you want to see how this one stacks up against Destiny's previous entries, head to my channel's raid playlist and get comfy. There's a lot. Have a great day, and enjoy the real reason to watch these videos. The bloopers.
Phases. We're overcomplicating this, I'm telling you, man. The devs are not this smart. It's fucking Destiny 2, made for children. They are not this smart.
God of Pain, by the way. Get it.
Come on! What was your last name? Your last name?
We got it. Wait. It might die.
Yes! It says your light fades away though. Dude, guys, I'm serious. That last name guys,
wait,
my fucking
wait,
shit has
wait.
I didn't. No, wait.
Uh-oh. Wait. No.
Wait, we got the.
Let's go, baby! That's what I'm talking about!
2-man, 2.
What? Not again! Not again! Not fucking again!
Joking!